Good afternoon. How's everybody? Good. We're going to start with our Holly Storm food product bill. And this bill was sponsored by Councilman Bullock. And let me just say that when I was at the state level, this was something that I supported and was glad to see the council take this on, because if you all don't know, there's some adverse effects to using styrofoam, for example, the harmful release of chemicals. We talk about the chemicals getting into the food, especially hazardous for our children, who are the most vulnerable as it relates to this. And I think that there are environmental hazards as well. It's not biodegradable, and it pollutes our water. You can see it oftentimes in our harbor, unfortunately. But what we're doing here today, I think, is important for our environment. It's also important for our young people. It's important for our city to acknowledge, that this is a problem. I'm glad to see our health secretary here, health commissioner here as well. But let me just say thank you to all the proponents of this particular legislation. Thank you all for pushing us forward. I see Councilman Bullock is here as well. But Mr. President, it gives me pride and to sign this particular piece of legislation. I want to thank everybody. Oops. This is this is one of those old chairs, jacket. You know, we have an issue in City Hall and throughout the City Council chambers, and you can see with those sofas over there that, you know, we need to figure out who can repair these things. They're old. I feel like I'm gonna fall through. Good thing I don't weigh a lot. Get a better okay. I usually like to sign those documents. Thank you. And because he is the president, he gets the first ceremonial pen.
Thank you.
And because he is such a diligent and smart person.
All right.
Thank you. And we'll have other ceremonial pins that we can share with others. Okay? Thank you so much. And let me invite the president to say a few words, and then the sponsor of the legislation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, I want to thank you for signing this bill into law. I want to thank all the advocates that fought so hard for this to become a reality. And I want to thank the young people, and I was hoping that I saw some of them here, because it was the young people that convinced me to work along with Chairman Bullock to get this bill passed. Those little kids were in here, well, I won't say kids because people say kids associated with billy goats, but the children were the driving force behind me making the decision to move this bill forward. And I sit down with the chair and the sponsor of the bill, and worked out something that I thought would be business friendly. Give them an opportunity to phase out the styrofoam. Mm-hmm. And we agreed on 18 months to give businesses the opportunity to get rid of all of their inventory, and so that we can become free of styrofoam in our harbors, on our streets, and on our corners. But just before I agreed to do that, I asked some of the children that were there, I said, I want you all to be honest with me. How many of you have ever thrown a cup into the gutter? Every hand went up. I said, you're part of the problem, because we can't ban everything. So if you all be a little more, diligent in using our recycles, our receptacles, putting the trash in there, the potato chip bags, because we can't ban potato chip bags. We can't ban our way out of it. So we have to make sure that we change our habits so that we can keep all of this stuff from going in our stream. So again, Madam Mayor, thank you. Mr. Chair, thank you for working along with me as president to get this bill done. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
So good afternoon. Keep it pretty brief, but definitely want to thank Mayor Pugh for signing the bill, for her support, also the council president for supporting, and also want to thank the co-sponsors and my colleagues who passed this bill unanimously. That says a whole lot in terms of how we feel about the environment and what we can do as better stewards of that environment. Also want to thank the advocates and supporters. Definitely, Council President already mentioned the young people who were at the thrust of this. And so groups like Baltimore Beyond Plastic, which are some young people who advocated very strongly, Blue Water Baltimore, Trash Free Maryland, Waterfront Partnership, and the National Aquarium. So we all agree in terms of what this bill can do, and it's only the beginning. So yes, there are things we have to do in terms of our behavior, right? We have to make sure that we are recycling, that we are using trash cans. But again, from a policy level, we have to be leaders here in Baltimore. We know that there were attempts years ago to get this done and it was unsuccessful. We know there were challenges at the state level in terms of getting this done. But here in Baltimore, we believe we can be leaders on policy issues that affect our environment. So I thank you all for being here. Thank you all for all the support. I really appreciate it. And thank you for the pen.
Thank you. Thank you. Councilman Scott, you want to come over? So the next bill I'm going to sign is the Healthy Beverage Bill for children's meals. And let me just say, this is another bill that we supported at the legislative level. Childhood obesity, as we well know, is a serious problem in our communities. This encourages a healthier lifestyle. It promotes wellness for our youth. And we know that we're hoping that our parents will help our young people to make wise choices, and that's what this is. You know, it doesn't take it away completely. It really gives us some responsibility and ownership in this. But again, I want to thank the president, I want to thank the councilman, I want to thank all of the council members who understood the importance of this particular legislation and our health department as well. So I'm going to sign the bill. I'm going to sit in this seat again. Needs to be repaired, Mr. Councilman. Hold the chair so I don't fall through. I'm signing Council Bill 17-0152. No, not every night. Not the way I do.
No, we should press the button.
We'll get some more ceremonial pens, but Mr. President,
Thank you, ma'am.
the councilman, did you need another one?
No.
I thought I scanned it, Vice President. And we'll make sure that our health commissioner gets one as well. So having signed these two pieces of legislation, let me have our Councilman Scott say a few words, and then our Commissioner, Health Commissioner.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And thank you, everyone, for being here. Let me first thank the mayor and all of my colleagues for their support about this bill. It's critically important for the future and the health of our city. We know that we have so many problems and so many challenges around the young people in our city, but above it all, we have to improve their health in order to properly educate them, to mediate the problems that we have going on the streets of Baltimore. We have to have them healthy, present, and able to intake all the things that we're putting forth. So I am so grateful to all the folks that I work with, from Sugar Free Kids who are here today, the health department, all of my colleagues for getting this bill passed. This is a big thing, not just for Baltimore, but for the country. We're the largest city to implement this bill thus far, and we know that we can have healthier options and healthier outcomes, health outcomes for our children if we just invest the time in that. So thank you very much, everybody, for being here today.
Thank you. And then we'll have our Health Commissioner, and then we'll have our President wrap us up.
Yes, I just want to say both of these bills are just so important to progress in our city. And I thank the sponsors of the bill, I thank our council president, and I also thank Mayor Pugh for just moving forward with these initiatives and all the other ones that are in the making.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Nguyen?
I'm just so thankful to have a mayor and a city council president, city council members who understand the role of public health. I mean, you are true public health champions in our city, showing nationwide why it makes such a big difference to focus on our youth, to focus on environmental health, that this is really about the future of our city and the health and well-being of our citizens. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And we save the best for last to wrap it up. Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, I'd like to thank the sponsor of the bill, Chairman Scott, all of the advocates, and the City Council at large. I want to thank you, Madam Mayor, for signing the bill. But this was another bill where kids got to me too. And I mean, it's powerful when young children come at you and could articulate issues that is important to them. And there was some compromise on the bill, and I'm glad that my staff worked along, because I got to give them credit, with Chairman Scott and the advocates to get this bill to where it is today. And this is another step towards making Baltimore a healthy, friendly city for our children and for our citizens. So again, Madam Mayor, thank you for signing the bill so quickly.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.